away. And it's below your winds I ho, and it's roving I will go. I'll stay no more on England's shore, so let your music play. I'll start on the morning train to cross the raging main, for I'm on the move to my own true love, 10,000 miles away. So the songs I'm singing tonight are from my great aunt, Helen Hartness Flanders. She was brought up in Springfield, Vermont. She was the daughter of Governor Hartness, and grew up in learning music and playing music and having a great appreciation for the arts. In 1930, she was commissioned by the state of Vermont, by Governor Weeks, to research old folk songs that existed in our state. And at the time, it was believed there wasn't any ballads or songs that existed and people knew them. And it was her task to research and find out if, in fact, these old songs did exist. And after a year of collecting and putting the word out through newspapers and contacting professional folklorists, she discovered that she really just hit the tip of the iceberg, that there were, in fact, old ballads that came over here from the British Isles by the people that settled here in the States, or in Vermont in particular, from England and Scotland and Ireland, and they did know these old songs. They just were living with them in their households and farms, in lumber camps across Vermont and Maine and New England. And she then spent the next 30 years of her life contacting these folks and collecting songs, writing them down, and transcribing the music, and ended up with a collection of about 4,800 tunes and fiddle tunes and folk songs. So I have been spending the last 15 years researching the songs from her collection that I really like. So you're going to hear a sort of a sprinkling of songs in the traditional style. Normally I'll have accompaniment, but my great aunt believed that the voice is an instrument, and singing a cappella has its own unique style. So I'm going to be singing all these songs to you without accompaniment in my own voice. So I thought I'd start with the next song with one of the first songs that I learned back in the early 90s when I started researching them. And this is a British ballad. There's multiple versions of it around the state and in New England and throughout Scotland and Ireland and England. But this one was sung by a gentleman from East Calais, Vermont. He worked in the lumber camps, and that's where he learned it. So it's a story about a woman who falls in love with a gypsy, and she leaves her husband and her baby at home to run off with him. It's called Gypsy Davy. Gypsy Davy, come over the hills, come over the hills and the valleys. He sang so sweet that he made the valleys ring and charmed the heart of a lady. Rattle-daddle-dum, daddle-dum, daddle-dum, rattle-daddle-dum, dink-a-daisy. Rattle-daddle-dum, to my marinka-dink-a-dum, to the Mariah, marinka-dink-a-daisy. Last night you came to the poor-wedded bed, and in your arms your baby. Tonight you'll sleep on the cold, cold ground, along with the gypsy daisy. Rattle-daddle-dum, daddle-dum, daddle-dum, rattle-daddle-dum, dink-a-daisy. Rattle-daddle-dum, to my marinka-dink-a-dum, to the Mariah, marinka-dink-a-daisy. Would you forsake your true wedded lord? Would you forsake your baby? Would you forsake your own feather bed and go with the gypsy daisy? Rattle-daddle-dum, daddle-dum, daddle-dum, rattle-daddle-dum, dink-a-daisy. Rattle-daddle-dum, to my marinka-dink-a-dum, to to the Marinka-dinka-daisy. Rattle-daddle-dum, daddle-dum, daddle-dum, rattle-daddle-dum, dinka-daisy. Rattle-daddle-dum to my Marinka-dinka-dum, to the Marinka-dinka-daisy.
I actually can know that one.
So you can imagine folks singing these songs. They didn't have radios back in before 1920. So the way one entertains yourself is by either playing an instrument like a fiddle, or perhaps you're going to be want to dance. A lot of social dances on weekends in Vermont. And they also had kitchen junkets, which were dances held in farmers' homes on the weekend, and these dances were known to go on all night long, singing, playing, and dancing, square dance type style dances. And if the singer did come and sing during that time, it was usually one or two would break up the dance with a song. And this tune I thought was really appropriate for this really long, cold winter we're having. And I grew up in Vermont and remember bitter cold, sub-zero weather, and staying at home, and school days, and having snow days, and taking time off from school. And but when I did have to go to school, my mother was always after us to wear enough clothes, snow pants those days. And I didn't like to. I really liked to just have my skirt and my fishnets and so on. And it didn't matter how cold it was outside, I wanted to just keep that dress on and no snow pants. So this song I'm dedicating to my mother, because it's about a young woman who gets dressed up to go to a winter New Year's Eve ball. And her mother chastises her and says, "You don't have enough warm clothes on, you need a heavy cloak." And she says, "Oh no, my scarf is enough, I'll be fine." She jumps into the sleigh with her boyfriend, and off she goes for a 15-mile sleigh ride, and her boyfriend discovers something along the way. It's called Young Charlotte. Young Charlotte lived on a mountainside in a lone and dreary spot. No dwelling there for 5 miles round except her father's cot. And yet on many a winter's eve young swains would gather there, for her father kept a social board, for she was very fair. Her father loved to see her dressed fine as a city belle, for she was the only child he had, and he loved his daughter well. 'Twas New Year's Eve, the sun went down, Wild looked her anxious eyes along the frosty window panes to see the sleighs pass by. At a village in 15 miles round, there's a merry ball tonight. The air is freezing cold above, but the hearts are warm and light. And while she looked with longing eyes, then a well-known voice she hears, and dashing up to a cottage door, young Charlie's sleigh appears. Her mother says, "My daughter dear, this blanket around you fold, for it is a dreadful night abroad, you'll take your death of cold." Oh no, young Charlotte said, and she laughed like a gypsy queen, for to ride in blankets muffled up, I never could be seen. My silken cloak is quite enough, 'tis lined, throughout, and then I have the silken scarf to tie my face about. Her gloves and bonnet being on, she jumped into the sleigh, and away they ride o'er the mountainside and o'er the hills away. There's merry music in the bells as o'er the hills they go. The creaking rake the runners make as they bite the frozen snow, and o'er the hills and faster o'er, and by the cold starlight, till Charles in these few frozen words at last the silence broke. Such a night as this I never knew, my reins I scarce can hold. Young Charlotte said with a trembling voice, I am exceeding cold. He cracked his whip, which urged the steed much faster than before, and then the other 5 miles round in silence were rode o'er. How fast, said Charles, the freezing ice is gathering on my brow. Young Charlotte said with a feeble voice, I'm growing warmer now, and o'er the hills and faster o'er, and by the cold starlight, until they reached the village inn, and the ballroom was in sight. They reached the inn, and Charles sprang up, and giving his hand to her, why sit you like a monument, what has no power to stir? He called her once, he called her twice, but yet she never stirred. He called her name again and again, but she answered not a word. He took her hand in his, oh God, 'twas cold and hard as stone. He tore the mantle from her brow, and the cold stars on her shone. Then quickly to the lighted hall her lifeless form he bore, for Charlotte was a frozen corpse, and a word spake nevermore. He knelt himself down by her side, and bitter tears did flow. He said, my unintended bride, I never more shall know. He flung his arms around her neck, and kissed his marble brow. His thoughts went back to the place, she said, I'm growing warmer now. He bore her out into the sleigh, and with her he rode home. And when he reached the cottage door, oh, how her parents mourned. They mourned for the loss of their daughter dear, and Charles mourned o'er the blue. When Charles's heart with grief did break, they slumbered